what she had on, to the lighting in the room, to how she was supposed to interact with the person that she was having sex with.
He had everything to do with what she was wearing. She said she would buy outfits from sex shops and see which one he wanted her to wear. And then inside the actual hotel rooms, their apartments where the freak-offs took place.
What is a freak-off? The freak-off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism, wanting to watch her have sex with someone else.
Say she's lying, but that's going to be a little hard to do with that video.
Diddy's family showed up in court once again, and just like before, all eyes were on them.
Was there too, holding her composure but clearly stressed.
Jesse and Delilah looked completely drained. They didn't make eye contact or say a word. Just silence. The atmosphere was heavy with sadness. It wasn't just grief. It looked like they had given up. Diddy's mother, Janice, was there too. She kept a brave face, but the stress was clearly visible. His sons, King and Justin, stayed close and quiet, serious, expressionless, and not even a hint of a smile.
Step to the side, please!
Watch out, watch out, watch your back.
Big fan. How can you bother today? Congratulations at NYU check. Give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space. Golden Nation.
Nice little cute smile. Nice. That
Step to the side, please.
like with this guy being by his very
Yeah, please. Watch out, watch out. Give us a little space, please. Oh, my. Sorry about that. Give us a little space.
Yeah.
Oh, chuck it in here. Guys, oh.
Boss down down.
Back up. Sorry, back up. She like, wait, got a white was right out of here. If that's all tonight. Hey, man, Sean, man, be good, bro. Okay. Charlie.
This was definitely not a moment of hope. But interestingly, there's talk going around in the courtroom that Diddy might avoid charges. For now, at least. No handcuffs, no confirmed charges yet.
Let's go through element number one. Any trafficking evidence? No. How about this? Violation of the Mann Act? No. How about where's the enterprise? Diddy? He had his one-man racketeering enterprise? No. This is, what are we doing here? And as soon as the jury says, yeah, and they look at the government and say, yeah, what are we doing here? Then all of a sudden, Diddy can just sit there and especially he's looking like something from like an Uncle Remus with the gray hair. He looks like Morgan Freeman. You're looking at him, and believe it or not, they're looking at him, and he doesn't look like, that's not the. Are you? Yeah. That might have been then. And by the way, wait till some witness shows up. I hate to say this. What if she's 40 years old? Who are you? I'm one of the girls. When was this? 20 years ago. This is is there anybody, is there anything new here? Nope. So this case is gonna stink.
Day 2 of the trial just wrapped up, and things are getting intense. The prosecutors came in strong and made some solid points, but it wasn't the big breakthrough they were likely hoping for. Diddy's legal team held firm, not flashy, but steady enough to get attention. Then, right at the end of the day, something unexpected happened. No one saw it coming, and it might change everything. That last-minute twist could be just what Diddy needs to slip through the cracks.
Prosecution's star witness taking the stand, but it was more than that. It was how Cassie took that stand. You could hear a pin drop when those doors opened, and a visibly pregnant Cassie Ventura walking past a man she had not seen in 6.5 years. A man she says violently abused her for a decade. A man the prosecution said trafficked her. Well, she sat across from him, placed her overcoat behind her, turning her body slightly toward the jury, rubbing her pregnant belly throughout her testimony. Diddy, well, he was more fidgety than he was the day before. He was passing notes. He pushed himself away from the defense table and largely sat like that. They never seemed to make eye contact with one another, not even after she was crying about having loved him once and planning and participating in these freak-off sex parties because she feared him and she wanted to make him happy, but feeling worthless, feeling disgusting because she didn't want to do it. Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was, matter of fact, steady, calm. At times, she was even critical of herself, walking us all through how a 10-album record deal came over a 10-year period of abuse and sexual humiliation. And once you hear Cassie's testimony, you'll understand why the courtroom was so
Let's talk about what happened next, because things got intense. Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, took the stand and made some serious accusations. Her testimony stunned the courtroom. She told the judge that behind closed doors, Diddy used to threaten her. If she didn't do what he wanted, he threatened to release private, very explicit videos, what she called freak-off tapes. According to her, these weren't just casual clips. They were graphic recordings involving other people too. She claims Diddy used them as blackmail, not just control her, but to mess with her mentally. This wasn't normal behavior. It felt like something from a disturbing playbook meant to dominate and manipulate.
Unique, though.
Sure, but is that what he's doing? Is he running an entertainment and fashion industry, or is he running essentially a criminal organization? I mean, I think she is a victim if the allegations are true, but also she is involved in some of the criminal act. I mean, she's getting those prostitutes, right? She's making payments to them, allegedly. She's having them come. So she's involved in some of the alleged criminal activity. And that's an interesting point that wouldn't just apply to her. Other people in his orbit might be some combination of victim and...
This part of the case is huge. Prosecutors are trying to prove that Diddy used threats and pressure to control Cassie, which would legally count as coercion. Saying something like, "Do what I say or I'll release this video," definitely fits the definition. But here's the problem. Cassie never quoted Diddy directly saying those words. She didn't say, "He told me, do this or else." And that missing piece is why this case isn't a slam dunk yet. If she had made that connection clear, the prosecution would have a much stronger argument. Still, the fact that he allegedly had those videos and used them for leverage raises serious concerns. And what makes this even more disturbing? There's talk that he's done this before. Remember Kim Porter? She reportedly wanted to go public with damaging information about Diddy, and later, she died under mysterious circumstances. That kind of pattern is deeply unsettling.
That just don't sound right, bro. That don't sound right at all.
So you feel the same way about her death being suspect?
I don't think nobody in America think it's nothing suspicious about Kim's death, bro. If you are rich like that, you could, Kim had, I think a net worth of like, what, 12 million a year or something like that? Kim could have called any doctor to come over and look at her. If she was that bad, she could have called an ambulance or something like that. Everything is suspicious about her death, bro. And I don't think an autopsy was done on her. And if it was a half job.
Things got even darker with more of Cassie's testimony. She told the court she felt humiliated. She never wanted to be involved in those so-called freak-offs. It wasn't some kind of choice or lifestyle. According to her, it felt forced, degrading, and unwanted. She also said that when she finally tried to speak up, she barely raised her voice. She was afraid of how Diddy might react. That kind of fear says a lot. She was clearly walking on eggshells, scared to stand up for herself. But here's the legal issue. Fear alone isn't enough for the jury. They need clear evidence. What exactly did Diddy say or do to make her feel so trapped? Without that direct connection, things are still murky, even though her emotional account is hard to ignore.
Harvey Levin and TMZ notwithstanding, and I have nothing against Harvey. He's into the salacious.
Yeah, the salacious side of it. Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, a lot of traffic on TikTok. People like, ooh, he did this, he did. Yeah, right. But that's not against the law. Read Kafka. Do you want to be charged with nothing and put to death? The government's got to bring the goods. And we all have to root for the government to give it their best. And if they don't have anything, then we can't live in a Kafka-esque.
Diddy maintains his innocence against all charges brought against him. Cassie, the prosecution's key witness in the case against the embattled mogul.
The defense acknowledged that the videos of alleged freak-offs will be shown, but that those videos, they said, didn't come from the government's investigation so much as it came directly from Cassie's phone, but they were essentially trying to raise doubt about why did she hold on to these videos, and again making this argument that this case is about love and infidelity and money. But the prosecution is saying, no, you will hear from witnesses that will tell you that they were abused, they were kicked, they were punched, they were coerced to taking drugs and to performing sex acts. So this is only the beginning.
The 38-year-old singer said to get emotional on the stand as the prosecution brought up this disturbing security footage CNN uncovered of Diddy beating Cassie in a hotel.
Many people have seen that 2016 video of Sean Combs assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And the defense said, listen, what you witnessed was wrong. It was inhumane. It was horrible. But that was domestic violence. And they said that is not criminal enterprise. That is not racketeering. But both sides sort of making those compelling arguments and opening statements that for the prosecution, that he is guilty. For the defense, obviously saying that he's not guilty of these crimes that he's alleged to have committed.
Then came one of the most disturbing moments of the trial. Cassie shared a graphic story that left the courtroom stunned. She said that during these freak-offs, Diddy, or people he allegedly told to, urinated on her. The prosecutor asked her directly, "Did you want that?" Cassie answered right away, "No, it was disgusting. I choked. I didn't want anyone to do that." When they asked why she didn't say no out loud, she explained that her body language, her reaction, her discomfort should have made it obvious. She thought it was clear she didn't consent. But legally, this makes things tricky. The defense will likely focus on that. They'll argue, did she ever say no clearly? Was she physically forced? The law looks for clear signs of threat or force. And since Cassie admits she didn't give permission, but also didn't say stop out loud, this part of her story falls into a legal gray area. You can expect Diddy's team to use that to cast doubt and complicate the case.
If she's naming names like David James or Christina Coram, do they have to testify, you think?
I don't think they have to testify, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I would think this is all planned out, that she's going to indicate some people and then the prosecution is going to bring them in later in the trial to verify, right? One thing you really want to do with a witness like this, the defense is going to say that she's embellishing. They might say she's lying, but that's going to be a little hard to do with that video, right? They can't just say she's a liar. But they're going to say she's exaggerating, she's embellishing, they're painting it a certain way because of the case. So you have to bring in these corroborating witnesses and whatever other corroborating evidence you have to verify what it is she's saying. So it would be very useful, for example, if she says, yes, David James came around to check on me on behalf of Mr. Combs, and then David James takes the stand and says, yes, I did that.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Some jurors might be thinking, it's obvious she didn't want that. The way Cassie described choking and the expression on her face makes it hard to believe she was okay with any of it. But others will focus on the legal side. The hard question is, where's the clear proof? Did he force her? Did he threaten her? Did she really have a choice? This split between gut feeling and solid evidence could decide the whole case.
Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, stepping out in support against the defense's wishes. The judge ruling he'll have to leave should an alleged 2018 Cassie accuses Diddy of comes up, after Diddy's lawyers noted they may call him as a witness, claiming he sent the rapper a threatening text over the alleged incident.
We know that according to previous hearings, she could be on that stand for 2 to 3 days.
And at some point in time, she actually had said that she looked forward to the freak-offs. Why did Cassie express looking forward to these said freak-offs?
When the prosecution asked her, was there ever a time that you enjoyed the freak-offs? This is when Cassie got choked up and she said, I did, but only because I got to spend one-on-one time with Combs and I really did love him.
And that is speaking to the psychological abuse in addition to the physical abuse that she potentially experienced.
Right now, the jury could go either way. When it comes to domestic violence, Cassie didn't hold back. She said Diddy beat her so badly that she had to hide in a hotel for a week just to let the bruises fade. And there's that disturbing video showing him physically attacking her. Hard to watch. Even Diddy's own lawyers admit the abuse happened. But here's the catch. This trial isn't about domestic violence. The charges focus on trafficking and coercion that Diddy's defense says, yes, they fought, but it wasn't one-sided. They're even digging up old stories to suggest Cassie was violent too, especially when she was allegedly under the influence. Whether the jury buys it as a sign of mutual conflict or just a distraction is a big question that could change everything. Now, things get even more tense. Prosecutors want to show one of those private freak-off videos to the jury. That could shake the courtroom. But Diddy's lawyers are fighting hard to keep it secret, especially from the media, and no one knows how the judge will rule. Will the video be shown only to the jury behind closed doors? It's still unclear. And the biggest mystery, what's actually on that tape? Does it show Diddy forcing someone? Does it support Cassie's story? Or does it raise more questions? What's clear is that if the jury sees a video, it could change how they see Cassie. So far, they've only seen her calm, collected, and pregnant in court. But if they watch her in a raw, vulnerable moment on camera, their view could change quickly. That could either help her case by showing what she went through, or hurt it if they misinterpret what they see. Experts say this case isn't simple. It's full of gray areas and surprises.
Is the big question. That could flip how they view everything. Here's where things get real tense. The prosecution wants to show one of those infamous freak-off videos to the jury. That move could shake the whole courtroom. But Diddy's defense team is fighting hard to keep it under wraps, especially from the media. Right now, no one knows how the judge will handle it. Will it be played behind closed doors? Only shown to the jury in private? It's still up in the air. And here's the kicker. No one even knows what's really on the tape. Does it show Diddy forcing someone? Does it back up Cassie's claims? Or does it leave things murky? What's certain is that showing that video could totally change how the jury sees Cassie. So far, they've only seen her in court. Pregnant, calm, collected. But if they see her in a wild, vulnerable moment on camera, their perception could shift fast. That could either help her case by showing what she went through, or hurt it if they misread the situation. Legal experts are saying this case isn't black and white. It's full of gray areas and unexpected twists.
I don't really want to say what I really believe, brother. Because, what I really believe is that they might got into a little spat, a little fight, or something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on the air. I wouldn't let people know that he probably smothered her to death, and because she had a bad cold or she felt some kind of way that she died doing them having that play fight with the pillow fights and everything and smothered her. But I'm not going to say nothing like that on the program because I don't want to get myself in trouble. As far as saying that with him and say, oh, he said this and he said that. Nah, I'm just being facetious. I'm just being sarcastic that if, in those type of realms and those type of things, because I'm never going to say that he probably smothered her to death. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Now, people are noticing scary similarities between what Cassie says she went through and the claims about how Diddy treated Kim Porter. The patterns are hard to ignore. In fact, Kim's name came up again in court on day 2, adding even more heat to an already intense case.
Have a funeral, put in a gold casket. It takes, 2 months to get those gold caskets, had it within a week? Or you're a millionaire, I guess you can. You're a multi-millionaire, you can get it that quick. Then had somebody at the funeral home, had a bodyguard at the funeral home watching the dead body for 24 hours up until the funeral.
Wow, I ain't know that. That's my first time hearing about that. But for the people that's not familiar with Diddy and Kim Porter relationship, can you let the people know a little bit about their relationship?
Well, Kim was very spoiled. Kim, Misa, Sarah Chapman, and Tanisha. Not so more Misa, but it was Tanisha, Sarah Chapman, and Kim. They were all good friends. Puff and Misha was together first. Over there uptown and everything like that.
So yes, prosecutors landed some strong blows today, especially with that video threat hanging over everything like a storm cloud. But let's be honest, it's not a clear win yet. There are still big gaps in the case. Now it's up to the jury to decide. Does Diddy's influence, the alleged threats, and Cassie's fear add up to a crime? Did he cross the line or just stay on the edge? There's still a lot to uncover. Anything can happen next. If you've been following this intense story, stay tuned. Like, subscribe, comment, and share your thoughts on everything unfolding here. See you next time.